Ring, ring, ring. Postman. Who this?
Cherry the worst.
Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Jerry and today I'm going to be doing the long-awaited Howard University experience video that I said I was going to do way back when I graduated, but that was in May and we're now in July. It's 4th of July. Even though it doesn't look like it, you guys, I'm a very introverted person, so it takes a lot for me to literally hear myself talk for over an hour and then to go back and edit that shit. I didn't really know where to start with this video, so I kind of just asked you guys to ask me questions on Instagram, and you guys did. You asked me a bunch of questions on Instagram, so I'm going to be going off of that and kind of like, you know, going into other things that I've done in Howard and talk about those a little bit more. And I figured, you know, like my channel is about makeup and hair, so I might as well do my makeup, hair, and talk about Howard within the same breath, so you guys kind of get a full circle of who I am. My hair is from ISEE hair, and it is a bob wig. I did not cut this wig. It came just like this because your girl don't know how to cut. But here's like the little thing it came inside. I really like this wig. I'll talk more about it in the video, but baby, it's very rare that I have a bob wig, and so when I do have them, I'm very critical, and like this is it. This is the wig that I want. But this is going to be one of my longer videos because I did try to be in depth, because I know a lot of people didn't really know I went to Howard, and secondly, I know a lot of people who are going to go to Howard is going to come across my video. And so yeah, I just hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy, and without further ado, let's get started. Okay. Alright, so boom, if I don't start this video now, I'm never going to start it. So I'm going to show you guys what I'm working with first, and then we'll get into the question. Even though you can't really see my hair, the hair that I'm working with today is from ISEE hair. It comes in this lovely black and gold box like this. It comes with a wig cap, and then we have our girl Glow Princess. They use her face for literally everything. Like, you'll see this girl everywhere. They have her in a little instruction tab in the back of it just to show you how to wear their wig. Nonetheless, I laid it down off camera and I will be styling it later on in the video, but right now we're just going to let it lay and bake, so when I'm done my makeup, everything is going to look nice and flat. So before we start with any makeup, obviously you guys can see my face looks really oily right now. Only reason it looks oily is because I got a lot of skincare happening. On the regular basis, I put on a lot of skincare before I put on my makeup, just because I have a lot of hyperpigmentation. My skin is naturally soft. I have good skin and I want to keep it that way, you know? So I'm just trying to preserve my skin texture and also work on my complexion as well. So what I like to do is take care of my skin, take care of the blemishes before I put on the makeup. And I do that every day, but in order to like keep my skincare and my makeup separate, I use a primer. You use a primer, you guys. Always use a primer. The primer that I'm using today is from Milk Makeup. It's their Hydro Grip Primer. And then I take my Milk Makeup Luminous Blur Stick and I place this right on top of it. That way I have a nice like soft base to my makeup. So the first question that was asked was, what's it like to be at an HBCU? How was your first year? So my first year was a mess. My first year was really a mess because I did exactly what you wasn't supposed to do, which was just party and have fun, and like didn't really focus on my grades. I still had that high school mentality. My first year was fun. What can I say? Like, freshman week is something you should always participate in. You'll always remember it because it's like, that's where you make most of your friends. Majority of your friends, you'll make it there. A lot of people you'll meet and you'll never talk to again, but majority of my friends I met freshman week. After my freshman week, I just continued to pretty much just have fun. I don't know, like, because my best friend, her name is Dupe, because she went out a lot, I went out a lot because I was always tagging along with her. Like I said, I'm a very introverted person, you guys. Like, it takes a lot for me to talk a lot. That's why this video took so damn long. But I just went out with her all the time. Now I'm going to take my Estee Lauder Double Wear. It's this little sample. I'm in the shade 6W1. And this is going to be my foundation. I'm not going to put on a lot, just a little. My first year was pretty much me finding myself and getting adjusted to college. I would say that's what it was. And adjusted to having a different type of freedom. Like, I didn't have to tell anybody where I was going, and no one questioned me about where I was going. Definitely. It was definitely not about my grades. I was like, my grades was like the last thing on my mind, honestly. But I passed. Somehow I passed. The second part of the question was, what's it like attending an HBCU? I probably should have started this off by talking about my college career because I never really understood what it was like attending an HBCU until I didn't attend the HBCU. I started off my first 2 years going to Howard, then I went to CCBC, that's the Community College of Baltimore County, to try out a different major because I was planning on changing majors and I wanted to do it at community college. And then I came back 2 more years for Howard, and my last 2 years at Howard I took a consortium. Consortiums are basically when you take a class outside of the university that's not offered at that university during that specific semester. I started taking consortiums because I didn't want to graduate later than 5 years. Like if I didn't take consortiums, I would be graduating, I would be graduating next year. So I've been spending 6 years in college versus 5. So that's why I started taking consortiums. And I took my consortiums at the University of Maryland, College Park. And that's a huge, that's a very huge, although diverse, it is still a PWI. It's a big, huge PWI. It's pretty much the complete opposite of Howard. You know, Howard is just like a medium-sized college. You walk up the hill and you're on campus. College Park is a whole damn like city. Like College Park is literally its own little neighborhood. Like you literally need a bus to go to class. And so, it's different in those two aspects. And what I noticed is that it wasn't as friendly. Like when I went to Howard, let me continue this makeup tutorial too. I'm gonna be using my Beauty Bakerie Cake Face Concealer in the shade You're Beautiful. What I noticed was that everyone was much more friendly at Howard. And I guess that's because it's a smaller university and everyone's just trying to be friends. Like everyone is literally always trying to make friends with you. Everyone's pretty nice. Like you can compliment somebody on their outfit and they'll be like, thank you girl, and they'll tell you where they got it from, whatever. Versus when I went to College Park, girl, like no one was even trying to hold the door for me. No one was trying to hold the door for me. I held the door for a lot of people. No one said thank you. Everyone's just trying to get to class and go. I kind of understand the environment because it's so big. It's like very rare that you're going to see the same person as you did yesterday, you know? Social atmosphere at Howard was way better than the social atmosphere at College Park. You know, although it's a lot of people, there's always parties happening at College Park. It's just not everybody's going to talk to you, you know, versus when you go to Howard, like literally you can't walk to class without somebody saying a word to you, whether it's thank you, goodbye, how's your day. You're not just going to get through the day without talking to somebody, you know. But I guess I like that family friendly type of atmosphere that I got at Howard. You know, I felt very comfortable at Howard, you know, versus College Park. If anyone's ever tried the Cake Face Concealer, you know you got to blend that shit out quick, but it also doesn't really have that much color in it. So I'm blending it with my Milk Makeup concealer in cinnamon. I'm blending it with cinnamon. So someone asked me, what did I study? Like I said, I studied electronic studio, and that's basically graphic design, but I started off studying business management, and your girl could not do business management. I just wasn't interested. My first 2 years I did business management, then my last 3 years I did electronic studio. Xmarama asks, how did you get into Howard? Okay, funny story. I didn't know anything about Howard. I used to be like a Tumblr girl. Like I used to really be like a fashionista on Tumblr. Like I swear to God, I was gonna go to New York and show everybody how fashionable I was. I don't know if you guys remember or y'all was a part of this phase, but back in the day, there used to be this boy named Glenn. This boy named Glenn, he lived in New York and he had all these friends on Tumblr, and it was all fashionable New York people. Like all of them was real fashionistas and shit. Everybody who lived in New York was just that bitch, you know? And everyone who was associated with him was just that bitch. He was selling pins, shirts, and at one point he had a Nike deal. Nonetheless, that was the nigga to meet if you ever wanted to go to New York. And that was like the phase on Tumblr where niggas was like having little meetups and shit. Like it looked cool. Like I wanted to be a part of that scene. And so I swear to God, I was a fashionista. Like I knew I was gonna go to New York, meet Glenn, spit game to him, and he was gonna let me join his group. Like I swore that was gonna be me. And so if you don't know who Glenn is, like he made a lot of people famous, honestly, just by being like next to him. Like Ian Connor was in his little group. Him and Justine Scott was in a relationship at one point, but she was basically like in that group too. Everybody was in that group with him is now blossoming. Like they all have their own career that's going really well right now. But basically I started applying to colleges in New York and your girl got rejected. Yeah, Manhattan College told me no, and then one of the SUNY colleges, they told me next semester you can come, but this semester we can't accept you. And I was like, I'm not waiting a semester to go to college, you know, like none of my friends are waiting, so why would I? And so I told my dad about this, and my dad was like, well, why don't you just go to DC? DC is just like New York. And I was like, are you sure, Daddy? He was like, yeah, I've been at DC all the time. So me being me, I'm like, all right, let me go to DC. And he suggested Howard. So I applied late to Howard and I got in. That's just it. So I just put on my concealer, you guys, and I blended it out with my Rimmel little sponge. But now I'm going to preset my face. I'm going to be using my full spectrum Covergirl powder in tan golden, and I'm going to set this on my face so when I bake it doesn't come out ashy. The next question is by Curly Cutie. She said, what do you think going to an HBCU gave you? What more did you gain than if you would have gone to a PWI? Even though it's not a good thing, Howard has made me a very persistent person as well, because I do have to finesse to get what I want at Howard. Like, you have to constantly follow up with people at Howard, versus when I was at my PWI, like all I had to do was make an inquiry about it and someone took care of it like that. Even though that's a bad thing, I feel like it definitely made me better in the end, because now I don't just settle for no's. I am constantly following up with people and making sure everything is to the T perfect no matter what. Now I'm going to use my Fenty Beauty setting powder and honey to set my eyes. And I also feel like I gained that sight of seeing like successful black people around me. One thing I'll say is going to Howard, where a lot of like established, well-known black people have come from. Every other week there's always somebody famous and successful that's come to campus to visit and give a lecture or a speech or to somehow give back to Howard, right? Being in that environment of like people, and even your classmates are getting internships left and right. Everyone's pursuing their dreams and they're pursuing it hard as shit, and they're all going through the Howard finesse or the Howard struggle, and everyone's just trying to like get to the bag. Being in that environment where everyone is just pushing to be the best them, it makes you feel like you can do anything. Like, it makes you feel like your goals aren't that far away. Like, your dreams aren't that far away. All you got to do is be persistent and keep pushing. Because too often in society do we feel like just because we're black, we won't be able to get to it. Even though that is true to an extent, like we do have it harder, just being in an environment where you see people have overcame that and done the shit that they wanted to do, it makes you like get that it makes you get that energy where you gotta be like that, like where you gotta be the same thing, you know? Just seeing a lot of successful black people around you, it helps build on your own self-esteem. Like, it makes you feel good about yourself, like you can do anything that they can do because they overcame the same issues that you're dealing with, so why the fuck can't you do the same thing, you know? Alright, moving on to the next question. Baby Stephanie asks, what do you wish you would have done differently during your time there? P.S. Love your channel. Love you and your channel. Thank you. I would say change my major sooner, but if I had changed my major any sooner, I would have known, nor would I have discovered that I didn't like business management. Like, I probably would have still had that wonder in my head, like maybe it could have worked out, but when I changed my major was my breaking point. I can't say I would have been more social because I'm just not that social of a person. Like, that wouldn't be true to myself, you know? Actually, you know what? I would say I should have joined more clubs. I should have joined more clubs, and I probably would have joined a sorority if I was more focused, but I wasn't. I was more so focused on finding myself more than finding something to be a part of, if that makes sense. Like, I wanted to find myself first, then find a sorority to be a part of, but I couldn't really find myself because I was so confused. My mom's a Zeta and my dad's a Q, and so I'm pretty sure they would be happy if I had joined a sorority. I wanted to, but like I said, I just wasn't focused enough to get into one. So the next question is from Pink Knee Productions. Did you always want to go to an HBCU? And love your videos. Thank you. So, alright. So first things first, I'm going to contour. I'm using my Black Radiance True Complexion contour palette in medium to dark, per usual. Okay, when I was trying to be a fashionista in New York, no, your girl was not looking at HBCUs. I don't think there's a lot of HBCUs in New York. I don't know, but I was just trying to get into New York. But once my dreams in New York was killed, it was either Morgan or Howard. __ Millie Yoke asked, roommate experience. My roommate experience was wonderful. I can't relate to like the bad experiences. I started off college with one roommate I didn't really like that. She wasn't really my cup of tea. And we both knew it, so we just didn't really talk like that. but we also didn't like, you know, push into each other's spaces. Like I would ask her before I would use stuff. She let me use her microwave because I didn't have a microwave at the time. And we were both pretty clean, so we were respectable about each other's space. We didn't really do those roommate type of things, like when you see other people going out with their roommates, having dinner, whatever. We didn't do all of that. We just like said hi and bye and respected each other's space, and that was about it, honestly. My second roommate was pretty much the same thing, but I actually liked her. I actually liked my second roommate. All three of my roommates were really clean, just like me, so we didn't really have any issues, and we both understood each other's boundaries. One thing I can say is understand what to do when you have a fucking roommate. Don't just take shit from your roommate. Ask them. I'm sure they would like to share with you. Don't gossip about your roommate. You know, if you have a problem with your roommate, bring it to your roommate and not your fucking friends, because they're not the one living with your roommate. A lot of stupid like high school shit happens freshman year because people don't know how to get out of that freshman mentality, I guess, because people be gossiping about their roommates on the floor, and it's like, just bring the problem to the roommate. Also, I should say, like, there's some things you shouldn't share with your roommate. Like, don't ask your roommate to share, like, you know, too many things. Like, it's okay to share, like, you know, I guess lotion in the microwave and maybe like borrow clothes and some shit like that. But don't be asking your roommate for her deodorant or like, you know, her pantry. I don't know, like, just know your boundaries. Don't ask too much of your roommate and they won't ask too much of you, and just respect each other's space, and you'll have a good college roommate experience. Harrison Pie asked financial aid. All she did was just say financial aid. Funny story about financial aid. I, like many others at Howard, had to fight for their financial aid. Like, I had to fight for Howard to renew my financial aid my sophomore year because they just took it away. Like, you start off Howard with a lot of financial help. Like, they give you a lot of scholarships and grants and whatnot, and then you have the FAFSA. But after your freshman, sophomore year, they start to be a little bit more tight on their grants and their scholarships and whatnot. I remember when I started my sophomore year, my grant was gone. Like, I didn't have a grant anymore. I had gone to the A building, which is the administration building. The financial aid office is right inside of that. I went inside there and I was like, yeah, where's my grants at? And they was like, oh, well, it's only renewable for freshmen coming in, but not sophomores, and that's why we took it away. And so this leads to my one issue with Howard, which is the administration. The administration is trash. Like, everybody tells you something different all the time. Everyone was telling me conflicting information back in 2014, 2015 of Howard. Like, literally, they had no type of like construction around it. So I took their answer, right? And that was the first lesson that I learned at Howard. Never take the first answer you have. I took their answer, I started talking with my friends, and they was like, that don't sound right. Like, why? That doesn't make sense. I have that grant. Why don't you have that grant? And so that's when I went up to the A building again, and I tried to talk to somebody about it, and they told me something different. They told me something different, but I still couldn't get the grant back. That's the first problem that I actually had with Howard, where literally the A building, no one had the right information, and no one had the full scope of information, even though they were working in the office. They would start getting snappy at you because, like, you want the right information. You're paying for the information. You're paying to come to Howard, and they're getting mad at you because they don't know the right things to say to you. Like, I would come back up there and be like, oh, well, that's not what I was told this time. They'd be like, well, that's what this is, and you need to visit this and this office to get this and this answer. And so I would visit that office, and they would be like, well, why are you over here? Just go back to this office. This is where you're supposed to get your answer at. So everyone's kind of pushing like responsibility on everybody else. Everyone was just struggling with the A building because the A building literally didn't know what the fuck to tell people. I literally had to get my daddy to come down there to get my freaking grant back because they wasn't trying to give it back to me. And like, that's one thing I would say. Don't be too ashamed to get your parents involved with this bullshit. I'm not the only one who had that issue. Like, a lot of people have that issue with Howard, and that's supposed to add to the finesse or the struggling part of Howard. People have this idea where it's like, you know, struggling times are bonding times. You feel me? I guess that's the case. I guess that's what adds to like the Howard experience, because people are like, oh, like, you remember that time we were struggling in like the hall, blah blah blah, and we had no heat, sometimes something, we had to do this, that, and the third. Yeah, that was cool times. That was struggling times, but we all bonded. That's how you meet a lot of your friends. But my whole thing is, I don't want to struggle when it comes to my financial aid. That'd be around any other experience but my financial aid experience. Like, let me struggle with the heat. Let me struggle finding somewhere to go in DC. Let me struggle with my classes. Let me struggle with anything else except my financial aid part. Nonetheless, Howard has gotten better. Like, when I first used to go down to the financial aid building, I'd be sitting there missing class for about 2 hours just to be seen to told wrong information. Whereas now, last semester, they have this little queue where You sign your name in and they'll call you when you're ready. They'll text you when they're ready and you'll have like maybe 5 or 10 minutes to get to them, you know? Or you can tell them that you want more time. The next question Carrie Sinapi asks is academics, difficulties. I guess my academic difficulties came in when I was changing majors. Again, that's a whole other video. If there's one thing I could have told myself, you know, back then, I would have told myself, don't follow what your parents want, follow what you want, because at the end of the day, you are in these classes and you will be the one failing these classes if you do not do something you love. One thing I can say about Howard is there's a lot of opportunities within the business school. A lot of connections you can make within the business school. You just have to be proactive in it, and I just was not proactive. Like, I have to be honest, I really was not proactive. You really have to be going to class with your eyes closed not to get an internship. Literally had businesses coming in and out of the freaking business school, you know? As far as academics go with Howard, I say like I had the difficulty of finding something that I love to do, and my friend made me realize that I shouldn't be doing anything I hate. Like, it's crazy to do something I hate, because who are you doing it for at the end of the day? You're doing it for yourself. You know, some people will tell you like, go get a degree in something that'll make money, fuck what you feel. That's understandable nonetheless, but I just was one of those people who could not do it. I don't talk down on it, but I couldn't do it. And I was really starting to get super depressed doing a major I did not like. Yeah, I no longer had academic difficulties because I was doing what I loved instead of doing what I felt my parents wanted, you know? Would I do my 4 years again? Bitch, no. I would not. Hell no. No, of course not. You know, time will actually tell. Time will actually tell, because I'm actually really enjoying this post-grad lifestyle. And in order to actually do it again, I would have to go and be a graduate student and somewhat do the college experience again. But right now, I'm kind of enjoying just like working at my own goals, working at things that really matter to me. Finding my own rhythm matters to me. Working at shit that actually fulfills me and myself, rather than doing homework that doesn't have anything to do with what I want to do, or like doing shit that I feel like I already know a lot about. Yeah, I feel like in order for me to go back to college right now, I would have to not enjoy my post-grad lifestyle and actually be in a different field where I feel like I know nothing about it, and it actually is going to help me later on. I finished my eyeshadow. I was talking so much, I didn't even say what I did with my eyeshadow. Basically, I used my Profusion Mattes palette, and then I used my Lancome CHIARA Bakerie palette. I don't know, I think this is a limited edition palette, and I used the shimmers in this palette to cut my crease with. Now I'm going to use the Lancome Hypno Drama mascara to coat my lashes before I put my fake lashes on. I'm trying to think of other things to go over in this video because that was literally the last question. I stayed in College Hall South and College Hall North for my whole little experience. I didn't want to stay in the quads because I wanted air conditioning. I feel like if anything that I took away from Howard was the importance of networking. Because literally you can get anywhere if you just know the right people. And I felt like, you know, whenever I ask people about how they got their opportunities, they'd be like, oh, well, I know so-and-so, and so they introduced me to this person, and that's how I got here. And so networking is just as important as having the talent to network with. Also to put yourself out there, because, I don't know, college is like the best place to just try things out and experiment and to just find yourself and find what you like, you know? I don't know, like you never really know who's gonna be on campus, honestly. And that's the best part about Howard. Like, you really never know who the hell is going to come on campus and why they're going to be on campus. I remember Drake came on campus one time. Drake came on campus and dog, I hauled ass to that damn bookstore. Now I'm just going to line my lips with brown like I always do and put a gloss on because it is 4th of July. Actually, what will you do a red lip? You might do a red lip. Might as well. I'm gonna leave this on while I curl my hair to see if I like it. The flat iron that I'm using is the Baby Bliss Pro. It's the Premia 3000. Bitch, this flat iron was worth every penny. I'm gonna curl my hair. So I already curled the back of my hair. I have these little things clipped off. I'm just gonna curl the front. Like I said, I really love this bob. It's super soft. I'm not having any issues with it. No shedding. If I had shedding, y'all, it wouldn't have made it into this video because what bob out here is shedding. While my flat iron is warming up, you guys, I'm going to set my face with my Ben Nye Final Seal Matte Makeup Sealer. Y'all, this thing, okay, so it smells like peppermint, but it feels like it's literally locking your makeup in place and it's never letting it move ever again. I'm surprised nobody has talked about it. Like, everyone talks about the Urban Decay setting spray all nighter, but this is the Urban Decay setting spray but on cocaine. The only downside is just this peppermint smell is really potent, bitch. My hair, and someone asked on one of my videos, how do I curl my freaking bobs? Literally all I do, part it, do a nice medium-sized part, take my flat iron, and I twist it away from me. I do like a 180 and slide down slowly. And that's that. That's why I love bobs. It's really not that hard to maintain a bob wig, and it's not even that hard to curl it. You just gotta make sure you're not over plucking the lace, because that's what you can fuck up is the lace. You can mess up the lace on any wig pretty easy, and that's why on this wig I didn't do a lot of plucking. When I do that Instagram stuff, when like the hair looks really thin in the front and everything else is thick, it looks nice on Instagram. It looks nice for the first, like, you know, week or two, but then when that lace starts shedding, that's when I get issues. That's when I'm like, oh, I should have never over plucked it. So now what I do is I just pluck it enough to see scalp in the front, and then I put a little bit of makeup on it, and then I leave it alone because my lace is going to naturally shed, so why over pluck it, you know? Oh, this wig is so pretty.
Seeing you got ritualistic, cleansing my soul of addiction for now, cause I'm falling apart. Yeah, tension between us just like picket fences. You got issues that I won't mention for now, cause we're falling apart. Passionate from miles away, passive with the things you say. Passing up on my always, I can't blame you. No.
This is my look, you guys. I'm pretty much done. This is the top that I'm going to wear. Obviously, I might put a little accessories on. I'm actually going to just apply my Sally Hansen Illuminator Airbrush Legs. It's supposed to be for your legs. I use it on my chest just to add some highlighter, and I didn't put highlighter on my face. I forgot to put highlighter on my face, but I actually like this for my chest because it just makes my collarbone stand out. I hope I wasn't all over the place. I tried to cover a lot. I just wanted to talk about pretty much everything. Don't forget to check out ISEE hair because this wig is banging. Like, it's actually a nice wig. If you want to like know about my ordeal with like changing majors and stuff, I'll go over that in another video. I just think that's too long of a thing to go over in this video, and not enough people would care about it if I kind of covered everything in one video. But I'll do that as a separate video so the people who care can watch it, and the people who don't can skip it. You feel me? So yeah, I hope this has like a little bit more of an insight on me. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy. If you choose Howard, that'd be a great decision. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye, you guys.
Looks, I be giving looks, Fashion Week in New York and I just got booked. Looks, I be giving looks, Fashion Week in New York and I just got booked. Looks, I be giving looks, Fashion Week in New York and I just got booked. Looks, I be giving looks, Fashion Week in New York and I just got booked.